I had to slash, put it down and plant some matoke. I went to her and said, you know what, mommy, I want this amount of money and this amount for a laptop. She called one of her sisters, she offered a laptop. And she offered to put 200,000 for me to start.
So with me, I have a trader who has been trading for the past 3 years. His experience is worth learning from. He has done incredible things.
I'm Elvis. I've been trading for the past 4.5 years.
Where did you get the mindset of young and then you want money?
So I'm at school asking myself, how am I going to make this difference? When I go home, I decide to do research. I actually found that YouTube pays. Decided to open a channel. A pop-up comes and it is an ad for Xness.
You get the strategy, you get the structured information. Did you start making money the way you wanted to make money?
When I looked down at all the trades I had called, they were actually looking good. I wanted to learn more.
When you talk about systems, what do you mean by that word system?
It is putting together your entire trading. I believe in someone that actually comes up and says, this is the way I'm going to approach the market. A plan is actually going to give you the roadmap.
How can a trader create a system that can help them survive? We all believe Forex trading sits on 3 core values. That is technical analysis, psychology, and risk management. Without those 3 things, it's going to be very hard for you to master and understand Forex trading. When it comes to technical analysis, it's all about the market. When it comes to psychology, it's about your mindset. Now, when it comes to risk management, it is about your risk appetite. So today at the Boss Podcast, I have a guest who's going to help us break down one by one. And according to his experience, he's going to tell us where does he focus the most. Because we hear a lot of traders telling us technicals is what controls your success as a trader. Psychology is what makes you a good trader. And some traders actually emphasize risk management as one of the core values that you're supposed to consider if you want to see yourself winning as a Forex trader. Welcome back to the Boss Podcast. Osman Lakanyo Meta, I'm a full-time trader. I met at Forex Boss Academy, and today we are going to find out what do I need to focus on the most, because every business has that one thing that you're supposed to put in more energy or more money, and then you see yourself winning as a trader. So with me, I have a trader who has been trading for the past 3 years. His experience is worth learning from. He has done incredible things. And remember, I keep on telling you this, learning from someone is one of the easiest ways to shorten your journey as a trader or even in other businesses. So welcome to the Boss Podcast, Mr. Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Osman. Maybe before I introduce myself, a point of correction. It is not 3 years. It is way more than 3 years. Though we've actually known ourselves for
3 years.
Yeah. So I'm Elvis, the founder of Forex Mastery Academy and the Global Institute of Trading. Also a coach of Forex and Digital Assets at Smari Skilling Institute, founded at Victoria University. A little introduction about myself. I've actually been trading for the past 4.5 years. And through this journey, I've actually found very, very, very many things. One of the biggest things I've actually discovered that we actually hype psychology when it comes to trading. And I believe systems are way more important than psychology. I believe someone that has actually shaped themselves properly will actually make a good trader. Way more than someone who puts themselves mentally right in the first place. Why I actually say so is, Osman, do you actually believe there will ever be a market without these 3 elements? The first one is fear. The second one is greed. And the third is uncertainty. So the market will actually do whatever it wants at any period of time. And with that, I actually want us to discuss with Osman today. And we actually see, why do I choose to take such a direction? What have I been through within this journey? And how I've actually got here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So that is Elvis. Everyone sees the market in a different angle, and we cannot trash anything, because if someone has proof that whatever they are doing has actually produced results, we just need to try it out. Personally, I don't believe in hype. I believe in data. I believe in statistics, because I believe data is what proves that something can be done repeatedly. And remember, in Forex, it's about consistency. If he has traded for the past 4 years and he has a reason why he's emphasizing systems more than psychology, we are going to find out, because 90% of traders that we hear emphasize psychology, to the extent that people tell us psychology takes almost 70% of your success as a trader. So thank you for coming by, Mr. Elvis. I just hope people can really, really learn from your knowledge. So now, before we even start, everyone wants to know Elvis before Forex trading. Who are you and what inspired you to start this journey of Forex?
I'm actually one of the lucky few. I've actually not been exposed to any kind of business or before trading. So it is this kind of person you're seeing here that went straight from school, and the first thing they're exposed to is trading. How does it come to be that way? I'll take you back. I actually don't remember I sat P7. That is why I'll not mention it. So it was back in P7. So I was asking myself in VAC, what am I going to do?
Wow.
But then my passion comes out to be sitting alone in my room and doing something. I'm a person who doesn't like engaging with people. That is one of my biggest problems. So I think of something that is going to give me money, but without engaging with clients.
Okay.
I tried a lot of things. So if you go to YouTube, you'll actually find a channel that is Semakula Elvis Ignatius. So this channel was basically doing a lot of stuff so that I can get money from trading, but it never worked out. I mean, from online.
Okay.
But it actually never worked out. Then, as time moved on, I went to secondary, and I was actually finishing. We were having
just a minute there. Sorry to cut you short. Okay. You did a YouTube channel when you're in primary 7 vacation.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question. Where did you get that mindset? Because me, I remember in primary 7, all I was thinking about, how can I own this? Not thinking about making money, but thinking about how to get money from my dad, and I buy a certain maybe PlayStation or whatever. Where did you come up? Where did you get the mindset of young, but then you want money?
To get it from your own perspective,
okay,
you are thinking of taking money out of your dad.
My dad, yeah, to buy a PlayStation.
I'm actually lucky. I've been to expensive schools,
okay,
but my parents didn't have money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my parents did everything, but when I go to school, I'm this guy who will stay hungry for the whole day and wait for lunch.
Absolutely.
There is break that is supposed to be from your pockets, but I know my parents don't have that money.
Exactly.
So I'm actually thinking about that, because if my parents actually had the money, I would not look for the money. So I'm at school asking myself, how am I going to make this difference? Then
you're seeing other kids enjoying the breakfast, but then for you, nothing is happening.
Then I'm asking myself, how am I going to make this change? Maybe not for myself, but for my family. How is my young brother going to enjoy from my own sweat?
Exactly.
So when I go home, I decide to do research. I had a very small Samsung. But during that time, my brother had gone to Dubai. So we decided, he sent my parents phones. Then I actually captured my mommy's phone.
Okay.
Then I was doing research here and there. And I actually found that YouTube pays. So what I decided to do is I decided to open a channel. I did streaming, playing games, and people were actually watching that. Okay. So I find that 20 people are actually there. And, for me, even if it is one person, I'll always ask myself, if this one person is willing to spare only 10 minutes to watch what I'm doing, then it is really, really important. I could have 1,000 coming in within the next 12 months. So I did that for some time, but eventually when it came to going back to school, I had to abandon. Okay. Then when I used to come back for holidays, it was still a tug of war since it had not yet peaked. Okay. I was just beginning all the time, beginning afresh. Okay. So one time I was actually streaming, YouTube, and the broker ads. It was after some long period of time, as in senior 5, I think. Then a pop-up comes, and it is an ad for Xness. Then I deposit money. You've created an account, you've seen the ad, and they say, and during that time, it was not so strict when you're opening up an account.
Yeah.
So I deposited, it was around $10. I actually made 50,000 from that plus my initial. And I was like, yeah, man.
$50,000?
Uganda shillings.
Uganda shillings. That's like $15.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually the account was in UGX. That is why I have
Oh.
those figures still mapped on my head. So when I got this money, I was like, wow, how did this come about? I even don't know what happened, but at least I know I pressed the button and
you
money
make
came.
money.
That was on XNES trading portal. I even didn't know anything about MT5.
Okay.
Then I was like, well, this can actually make some good sense. Then straight from there, I went to YouTube, I put XNES. Then now,
saw a
I'm
lot
now
of
beginning to see different things. Now this is, so trading is a whole different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Then I began reading. And by the time I went back for my second term, things were actually different. And I made sure everyone in my class knew that I was actually doing trading.
And were you getting results?
By that time, not yet.
Okay.
But I told them, you know what, you guys, this is the next thing that is coming up.
Okay.
If it is trading, we should all focus on trading.
So now those people you told trading, did they really focus on it? How do they feel when they see you right now?
I'm pretty sure they're disappointed.
Do they want to learn from you?
Yeah.
Have some approached you?
I actually have very many.
Okay.
Though most of the time, when it comes to me, for the people I've known for the previous time, when you engage me, I don't want to actually teach you what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because-
But now also, if you're to teach someone, don't teach them for free.
That is one of the principles I always run. I never offer something for free.
Okay.
So from there, we're about to do senior six. I actually didn't do senior six because I'm a person who makes sure my parents are always happy. So I performed poorly in senior 4. Then when I went to senior 5, I decided to do senior 4 exams again when I'm in senior 5,
Oh, wow.
such that I can give them good
Okay,
grades.
okay.
And I actually got those good
make
grades.
them
So when I made them satisfied here, I went to my mom and told her, you know what, I'm actually not into this education stuff. What we can do is I've actually identified something good that can work out for me, and I can focus on that, and it doesn't require me to go for senior 6.
Okay.
Then she was like, oh, if that is what you've decided, then it is okay. But your dad won't agree.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I have you, you have me. Let it be between us. If it means giving me school fees, let him give me the fees, but when I'm not there.
Okay.
So
Weren't you guys wanting to scam your dad?
it wasn't wanting, but he actually gave us the money. So I think it was a full scam.
Let me hope he doesn't see this video. But now I think the fact that you're making money, he won't take it as
He won't see
something.
this
Yeah.
video because I know actually he's a veterinary doctor. He rarely has time for this stuff.
Okay.
So from that point, I decided to focus on trading. Then I have one of the guys I say influenced me most. He's called Gene Ivan. He's actually my OB from London College. He was going to do prom.
Okay.
Then the mother came and told him, you know what, Gene, we are going to the US. Then I was like, wow, these guys must be having money. I made sure Gene is still a friend, even when he's in the US. After some time, I receive a text from Gene. He tells me, man, you know what? I'm this side, but all these guys are focusing on trading. You find all the boys in school are doing trading, but they're actually poor at math. I was like, oh, you mean you're better than these guys at math? Yet you've been one of the worst guys we've been having.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, if these guys are actually that stupid and they're doing trading, that means we can also.
Yeah.
And
it's not about being smart.
exactly. So Gene had his mentor, and they were actually doing, I think you've heard of the strategy, Wyckoff, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So I was studying with Gene. He has a class. Then we do a Zoom call in the evening. He shares with me everything that I've done.
Okay.
And after some time, he tells me, man, you know what? I think we cannot do this on our own. You find a mentor. I have my own, and it is better you get your own. That is when we met.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is when we met. So I decided and said, you know what? If this man advises me to get someone to learn from, then I should actually look for them. He's actually the one who recommended coming to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that is nice. Okay.
So he was like, I've actually looked at this guy's YouTube channel. He's actually doing well. He's doing great. If you actually to look for anyone, Uganda, see what they're doing. I was like, okay. Then when I came, this is where I'm actually going to encourage people to look out for mentorship. I knew a lot. I'm pretty sure you saw that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew a lot. I knew approximately 3 strategies fully. But my problem was I could not figure out how am I going to take out
everything.
the most important things and leave out what are not relevant. That is when you shaped. Actually, if you actually remember very well, even after the classes, I used to come back to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then I had to make sure I polish myself very well before I do the actual engagement in the market. And it actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah. I remember those days, you're one of the people who used to really, really ask as many questions as possible. That is something we tell traders, like when you come to learn Forex, don't be shy. You're here for your life, right? So you failing to ask a question when you don't understand something, that is what's one of the worst things you ever do to yourself as a learner in anything, not only in Forex, but everywhere. If you never asked, the world will never know that you don't know. And now you don't know because you do not have results. Elvis knew a lot. 3 strategies that makes you someone so good in this industry. But trading, we don't rate it with how much you know. We rate it with how much you make. So even if you know a lot and your MT5 communicates different, that means you don't know nothing. I'm not putting you down, but I'm just telling you the reason why we join Forex is to make money, not to know a lot. So that means if you know a lot and you're not making money, you need to find out someone and they help you structure what you know so that they can make money. So now back to you, Elvis. Now you get that strategy, you get the structured information. Did you start making money the way you wanted to make money?
Actually, I remember normally at the end of your classes, you have that live trading pattern.
Absolutely.
I did that analysis, if you recall very well, but I don't think you do. There's quite some long time.
It has been like 2 years back?
3.
3 years,
Yeah.
wow.
I did that analysis and we actually got a gold buy.
Yeah.
I had called my mom during that time and I told her, you know what, there's a requirement we need here at the academy and I need about 150,000 Uganda shillings.
Yeah,
I
like
deposited.
$50.
Yeah, I deposited that money. And then I gave the signal.
Yeah.
We took the trade. It actually made money. I blew that account.
How did you blow? You over-risked?
No, it is. I'm this kind of person. Sometimes when I emphasize systems, people may think I'm actually insane.
We are going to
but when I analyze that trade, the way I behaved and what I did during that time, I blame myself for not having a proper system.
Okay.
Why? We analyzed the trade. I reached home. It was deep in profit. I think it was up 100,000.
Wow.
So I was like, oh,
it's crazy.
I took the trade and it is crazy money running. I think if it is to go up to where my take profit is, I'll be
a rich guy.
Yeah. So what I did is I had entered 0.01 2 positions. What I did is I added 0.1.
Wow.
2 positions.
Wow. Crazy.
And every time it just made a very small reaction to the downside.
It would wipe out the profits of 0.02.
I was actually sweating because that is approximately because when you look at gold pips, that is a very, very tiny move.
Yeah.
Because I'm now having 0.2 on an account that is even not $100.
Yeah.
So within I think 15 minutes the account was gone. So I was seated at home and asking myself, man, I messed up, but I know it is not a problem of what I'm doing.
And I sent you a screenshot of me making money on your own
on my own
analysis.
Yeah. So I was asking myself, maybe there is something wrong. Then we came for the next class, and everyone was saying, man, yeah, we made some good money.
Yeah, everyone was proud of you.
I was silent. I was asking myself, man, I messed up. But I couldn't say it out.
Definitely.
That I've actually I've lost money on a trade I gave out, and people made money from it. And then from that point on, I wanted to learn more. You've actually discovered the strategy. Now I'm asking myself, Elvis, what is wrong with us? Why aren't we making money? Because when I looked down at all the trades I had called, they were actually looking good.
Yeah.
At least you would have taken at least 50% of that trade. And I was asking myself, man, you have something that looks nice. If someone looks at your chart history, what's the trades you've been calling, they're actually very nice.
The journal is saying positive
Exactly.
results.
But when you come 25,
Nothing.
it is another thing. Then I was like, ah, man, there is something that has to be done. You know, I'm this guy who doesn't like to look at things and say, I think this is how it should
Oh,
be.
yeah.
I actually go down, deep down. And then during that time, I decided to read. You know the books most of us read.
Yeah.
There's this book, you know. I usually forget that a psychology book because I read
Trading
Mark
in the
Douglas. That
Trading in the
one, Trading in the Zone. I read Mark Douglas. Within one done, it was done. Then after like 3 days, I found one of the book up to today. I still read it at least twice a year. That is Market Wizards.
I know.
I read Market Wizards all the time because if at all there are people that are actually experienced, why don't you copy from them?
Definitely.
That is what I think. That is one of the books that shaped me most. I see these people's experience and I'm like, wow, this guy is at the craziest calls for trades.
Yeah.
And putting that aside, I want to give you one more hint when it comes to my trading journey. You may ask yourself, man, how did this man be able to maybe raise money for mentorship or all that? There is the craziest part of me raising money just to come for your mentorship that I rarely talk about. And I think I was born a trader. That is for me. I don't care about any other person.
Absolutely.
Because as out of school, then I tell my mom, you know what, I have to learn. But then she was like, but you're having sessions with Jane every day.
Yeah.
Then I said, he says I should get a mentor. And according to my research, the only option available I can see is charging me $150. I will not forget the statements you actually made. When I came to your inbox, you said $150. Then when you said $150, I asked how much in Uganda shilling. Then you said, don't do the math. I was like, man, this guy is so serious. Then I had to just go to Google and get the figure. I called my mom. I told her, you know what, I'm coming to the village. I didn't tell her I want money.
Okay.
I told her, you know what, I'm coming to the village. So like, I thought you're going to study as well. I don't have fees. Let me first come and put myself right.
Okay.
Then when I went there, we have shares 4 acres of land. I was like, you know what? I've seen a very big bush down there. And I feel like slashing it is the best option.
Wow.
I had to slash the entire thing, put it down and plant some matoke and all that.
Okay.
Then I went to her and said, you know what, mommy, I want this amount of money and this amount for a laptop. So I was like, you've done a lot. Because at the end of that, all the trees I had put down, I had to make charcoal. So she was like, you even have 20 bags of charcoal.
Wow.
She was like, she had no reason to.
Yeah, not to give you money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she called one of her sisters. She offered a laptop. There is that. I'll even share the picture with you. There is that Lenovo. There is that old big Lenovo I had.
Okay.
She actually gave me that laptop and she offered to put 200,000 for me to start. Then my mom added and I had a total of 1 million cash. Then I had to pay you guys and the other money I had to figure out what other things I'm going to do it with.
Wow.
Yeah, that is, I think that is one of the things that always keeps me saying I was born a trader.
Okay.
Because if I look at the way things have been aligning themselves all the time.
Until where you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that is a very interesting story. That's actually very inspiring because many people fail because they think like trading is expensive, they feel like they cannot afford $150. Now think about it. Someone decided to go in the village, slash almost like 1 acre of land, make charcoal because they are interested in Forex trading, right? So if you're out there and you're giving yourself excuses, bro, you're lying to yourself. Whatever thing you need is very possible to be achieved if you actually want it. So back to you, Elvis. So now you start actually seeing the money, you've done with the mentorship and all that. So I have a very good question. Why do you say systems? First of all, someone wants to understand, when you talk about systems, what do you mean? by that word system?
When I talk about a system, probably it is putting together your entire trading.
Okay.
When you're going to trade, Osman, you don't just wake up and make a decision.
Yeah.
So I believe in someone that actually comes up and says, you know what, this is the way I'm going to approach the market. And then, most of us say a plan is only ending on how am I going to execute, how am I entries, exits, maybe monitoring the trade.
Okay.
But we forget about one thing. Why I usually say psychology is not the problem. A plan is actually going to give you the roadmap.
Okay.
Then we have that excuse for emotions. There is nowhere emotions is not involved in this planet.
Okay.
You wake up every day and you don't know what is going
To
happen. But have we ever called it psychology? Why is it that we are trying to put something aside on something that is already uncertain? You just have to put parameters for yourself. That is why I say fear, greed are emotions, and that is what most people call psychology. But the question is, how can I systemize this such that fear and greed don't affect me?
Okay.
There is a time we were talking and he asked me, man, you don't move with the phone. Are you a trader? That is one of my systems.
Okay.
For me, I don't believe fear or greed can actually put me down as a trader.
So systems, just to bring it out so that someone can understand it, system is how you manage yourself, how you move as a person.
Exactly.
Okay.
Putting yourself in the right place as a trader.
Okay.
Because normally we want to end our systems on entries, exits, trade planning and all that. But post trade execution,
Okay.
how are you going to position yourself in a way that, well, if this trade goes the way I want, I'm not actually going to have that stimulation for me to increase the number of positions I'm having.
Yeah.
How am I going to put myself in a position that if I'm having a winning streak for 3 months, I'm actually kept grounded within my risk structure and I'm not deviating from that because of the good things I'm seeing at the moment.
Absolutely.
And I believe that is one thing that most of these people want to call psychology, but they're actually not telling people that it is a system.
Okay.
For me, I don't move with the phone. You know why? I plan.
Okay.
I plan. And I know if I'm to have my MT5 with me here, I will execute.
Okay. So you're actually protecting yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what I do is, last time you saw my boy, I always move with. If I'm expecting or if we've analyzed, and probably I normally, my system is basically breakouts. If I've identified a possible break and we all know that this is the criteria I'm going to follow. After a break, I'm going to identify this and this. I'm going to look at the volume. If he only calls me and says, look at this, I'll open. I'll actually, if I'm normally I'm at office, I'll open my trading view and look at it and tell him execute.
Oh, wow. So even the execution is done by someone else. Wow.
Such that I'm going, he cannot do unusual execution because it is not his account.
Okay. He will follow your
exactly,
order.
he will follow my order.
Okay.
And he knows very well we have a limit when it comes to my executions. We already know I'm going to risk this amount, I'm going to risk this amount on this size of the account, and he will execute that. He doesn't need to ask me which lot size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, perfect. So Elvis, I have a question for you. You've emphasized systems, right?
Yeah.
System is the most important thing, but I want to know, like, psychology, they normally say psychology is someone's mindset, like your personality as a trader. So what you're trying to emphasize is if you understand yourself, you're supposed to create a system that protects you from triggering emotions that are going to bring problems.
Exactly.
So that means protecting yourself is way more than letting an emotion getting triggered and then you have to experience what it can do to you.
Exactly.
Because remember, most of the decisions we make are 90% emotional.
Yeah.
But now we know there are people that can make decisions that are not emotional.
Yeah.
For example, soldiers do not make emotional decisions.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Lawyers do not make emotional decisions.
Yeah.
So now what you're trying to emphasize is actually very, very important because many people I know there are mentors who tell you out there that psychology is important. And yes, it is important. But now what if you create a system that protects you from getting psychological problems. Wow, that's a very, very good one. So now, Elvis, people say every time we finish mentoring people, I think I even told you this, you need to have a plan, a set of rules. But I want to understand, many people have plans out there. I remember there's a time someone sent me a plan. I told them, make a plan. And someone sent me a plan of how to grow $10 to 10,000. And I was like, bro, this is not a plan.
I've actually had one like that before.
Exactly. So now I want you to help someone out there understand what is a plan and what is a plan supposed to have, and then what a set of rules and what is which rules are you supposed to make so that you can move. I think that one also connects the system.
Allure is it is actually coming down to the same thing. I prefer calling it a system, not a plan.
Okay.
So I always give references when I'm actually giving my things. I like Market Wizards only because of two traders. And those are the very first two traders the book outlines. That is Michael Marcus and Bruce Kovner.
Okay.
So when you read through these guys, I think it is Bruce Kovner that says he spent an entire year drafting a risk management system.
Wow.
And this is a trader that is valued $9 billion.
I think you guys that I tell it was going to take you a month to make a plan, you've had someone took a year to just make a risk management system. Wow.
So when it comes to plans, one of the biggest challenges I face, Osman, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
And you're a teacher. I know you've encountered this challenge several times.
Yeah.
When you tell someone to draft a system, all they're thinking about is the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then the systems that are actually going to run a trader are way beyond the money that person thinks of generating. And most of the times we look at a technical system. I think this is the one almost everyone talks about, a technical system. Then they forget a risk management system. It is called a risk management system because it is actually saving you from disaster. That is a risk management system. So if you're to have a risk management system, you're going to draft this system only after you have a specific amount of money you're going to invest in. Because you're going to plan for 1,000 and you're going to make sure this system is protecting your 1,000 US dollars. So when the amount of money changes, maybe if you're to draft this system in a way that it is versatile to the figures, that is also a little bit. But when you have a little less money, then it is going to be a little bit a long process for you to gain from the markets, no matter the system you're setting. Because I believe a system is something, for me, I take to be so important that it has, if you're to deal with a risk management system, then you must already have a technical system and you must already have that, how should I call it? There is that reaction, the way those guys say psychology, you know that part. How am I going to deal with my emotions? Okay, if I fear to execute, how am I going to deal with this?
Okay.
If I fear to maybe take a gold buy, if I fear the trade is going to leave, what am I going to do to make sure I'm not affected by this reaction? But I'm following the proper execution that is predetermined by what I've seen in the prevailing market conditions. That is a system. It is going to cover every small detail in movement. And from that small explanation, I want to tell a trader out there that if at all you ever execute a trade, depending on something that is not listed out somewhere in what you've been doing, then you're probably out of a system now.
Absolutely.
If you're to follow a system, then whatever you're doing should already be put down. Exactly.
It's supposed to have a structured system written down by the way. And that is what I tell people, like, just imagine when you apply for a job and you get that job, they give you a paper to sign. What does it have? A system of how they expect you to be on the workplace. But when people come into trading, they don't want to do that. Now, what do you say about this? I've seen a lot of people, you know, someone comes into trading, they're looking for financial freedom, right? They are tired of the 9 to 5. And now when they come into trading, they actually behave like they don't want money. What would you say about that? Because I believe if I'm tired of earning 1 million every month, like $300, that means if I see an area where I can make that money a week, I'm supposed to actually do more than what I do the other side. But now when people come here, they actually just do less from what they do the other side. What do you think could be the problem there? Why do people have that mindset?
I think when it comes to my own perspective, I think these people don't actually have the passion for what they're doing. I've just given you I told you I wanted something where I'll sit and do something that doesn't involve clients. And I'll give an example still. You know about my business that I had, that is agent banking with mobile money.
Yeah.
So I have this business running, and what comes up, I actually bought this business from my brother. So I've only worked as an employee once in life. So I'll give this from my perspective. I was living in Sonde. That is by the time we met.
Okay.
I was living in Sonde, and things were not well. And for me to leave Sonde, I'd actually made some money. Then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to make this money and stay here.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure I'm making money and I'm saving a lot of it. Then I decided to leave renting. Then I went to one of my mom's places in Kayunga. Then 2 weeks there, I received a call from my big brother. You know what? I have a business and I want you to be the manager. I was like, wow. He called on Sunday. Monday, I was in Kampala. Okay. I was at Old Kampala very early in the morning.
Okay.
I was already running. Something I've never done in life. But I'm now the manager and I have to make sure I know everything. I was like, you know, I think I should first put trading aside and understand this. Then I'll come back to my trading. And then from that point, I think I didn't love that business.
The business, okay.
Yeah. Then as time moved on, I began switching back to trading. Now, the amount of time I was giving trading and the amount of time I was giving this man's business were not adding up. He was like, I think we should close this. Then I think I was just lucky. During that time, I was doing business. I actually got exposure to people with money.
Yeah.
So someone comes to me, they're like, man, I've seen you having chats here. Can we invest?
Oh, wow.
I've actually done account management, but that is another chapter. So this man says, I have my friends, we can put together money and you actually trade it for us. Then this guy collected people, they actually raised $20,000. They give me this money and I'm actually afraid. I'm like, man, I might lose this because money. But one of the things I do most is I first protect myself. So you have to sign a mutual agreement.
Oh, okay.
You have to sign it by force. If you don't want, take your money.
Take your money, absolutely.
So these guys had to sign that. But after, because I usually, for me, I have that part, I don't believe so much in technicals and I want to know the reason as to why the market is moving. And that is me. I don't care what other people think.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of fundamental research. Then from 2023, I knew there was going to be a gold run. Then it finds me at Old Kampala. The run already went. Before, actually, I had a trade that we shall actually talk about later on. I actually had a trade that closed me out when the move was just beginning. You've seen that gold run.
Yeah.
Then at Old Kampala, there is a pause. I believe market is going to make another run. That is from 3,500. And I actually get this move on these people's money.
Oh, okay.
I'm a person whose system will not allow me to close a trade as long as I see volume still in a certain direction.
Okay.
And I bought gold and all I was doing was just to scale in more positions.
Okay.
That is where I'll give you my biggest win. That was $200,000. Wow. But this was not my money. So I had only a certain share, that is 10%.
Okay.
So I had to take my 20,000.
You did account management with a 10% share.
Yeah. because all these people had small amounts of money there.
Oh, okay. So
And,
there are many.
Yeah, there were very many. So I knew if I was to keep arguing with these people for 50%, then there was no business.
And then you needed the money.
Exactly.
Most important.
So it was okay for me to make just 2,000 US
Okay,
dollars.
okay.
But then God made it the other way around.
And then you got a 20.
I got it 20,000. And that is when my brother comes up with an idea. I'm closing this business. I told him, man, you know what?
I'm buying it.
Buying the business. I'm buying. And when I bought this business, I actually knew that this is something not for me after like 6 months, because I was giving more time to trading and I was actually eliminating the business. It was actually draining me now. Now, I want to answer your question now. Why do these people come and they're not treating it the way it is supposed to be treated? And I'm very sure you've seen it several times.
Absolutely.
Someone comes and the amount of energy you're putting into this thing, as someone that is educating them, they cannot even make quarter of it.
Absolutely. And you look at the money you charge them. bro.
Exactly. You are doing execution, you are doing research every night, because I'm very sure I've seen you with red eyes one time. I'm very sure we take a lot of time in the night and we are trying to figure out things. And you teach someone what they want is do this. All they want is you tell them, do this, then buy.
And then,
But they're not looking at how much effort you're putting in just to structure this strategy. You get the point?
Yeah.
So these guys are going to be there and say, man, Osman is lying to us.
Okay.
This thing does not work. But the amount of effort you're putting in is not the same amount of effort. Maybe because they actually don't know what...
They haven't seen the results,
Exactly.
maybe. They haven't tested the sweetness.
But even if you get the results, I believe it is the passion.
Yeah.
It is not the results. Leave alone the results. Because I've seen people, I've actually traded for people and they've seen the results, but they cannot take that step into doing this. So I believe it is the passion for this kind of thing we are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, so people do not have passion for money.
Exactly.
They think they have.
They want
have the
money,
passion.
but they are not willing to actually
pay the
do
price.
whatever
Absolutely.
it comes with.
Wow, that is interesting. So now tell me about, so we have understood the system. Tell me about risk management.
Risk management.
How important is risk management in trading?
You know, I've actually had arguments all the time that the 1% rule is never something that is important.
Okay.
But then I never go with the majority. I'll give this with a simple explanation. Osman, coming back to culture, if you're to marry a girl of 16 years, you're probably a very bad person. But it is very hard to find a 16-year-old virgin girl.
Wow. These days, I don't know, but
you get my
I've
point.
never been around 16
So,
years.
You get the point.
Yeah.
No, I'm just giving because that is something we already know, that it is hard to find a 16-year-old that is a virgin. But then marrying a 16-year-old girl is actually very
It's
bad.
unethical.
You get the point. Why am I bringing out this? There are things that culture describes. There are things that we are going to find out there, but they're actually just killing us. You're going to find that someone is saying that the 1% risk management rule is actually not realistic. But then ask yourself, Osman, I'm going for a losing streak. I'm going for a losing streak of, I'll be honest, for me, the past 5 months have been the worst trading months for me ever since I started.
Wow.
And yeah. And you'll find that I've actually paused the trading. I usually have those phases normally when I'm building something. So I've been having a lot of things that are disturbing me for the past 5 months.
Okay.
And I believe I'm not in a good state to do live trading.
Okay.
But then you're going to find someone saying the 1% risk rule is actually a lie. If I was risking 10%, just ask yourself, if I was risking 10% on my account, how many trades do I need to lose that account? 10, right? If I'm to lose my account with 10 trades, you know, losing 10 trades is something small in this industry.
You can take
1,
within
2,
a
3, 4, 10. By the time you notice that the account is done, you can't even realize I've taken 10. And this is something that is actually structured for people, that you can risk 30% of your account, 50% of your account. But then these guys don't sit back and ask themselves, is it really worth it for me? One of the biggest challenges is if you don't ask yourself the question, if I risk 1% of this account, how can I survive for the next 5 months? And if I risk 10%, how am I going to survive? So risk management is going to be put together. You know why I believe in systems. Still, if you've not made the technical view, because for me, I put them together, technical and fundamental for execution. So for someone that is going to look at execution, ask yourself, what is my win rate? And that is where everything is going to begin from. You're going to do risk management. First, make sure you already know your chances of survival.
Okay.
If you've not planned, if you've not put your chances of survival, now that is another challenge. Osman, among all the students you've taught, are there students that actually prioritize backtesting? That is, I think,
don't emphasize it personally.
Yeah, I know. But normally, for me, I believe in people who first look at history. I actually don't put that much of emphasis on to backtesting. But I want you to get that picture of what you're going into. I want you to first understand, maybe last week the market behaved this way. And is there any slight difference from what I know and the way it has been behaving? And that is going to put you in the right place. You know, if there is a slight difference, you have to adjust and actually keep up with the new.
Absolutely.
And one of the major things I've actually found out that is actually killing most of the traders is failure to take notes. You can't keep records for just a month. But you expect to understand that there is a difference, maybe in market behavior at my zone. You get the point? So there are very, very small things that normally stop traders. And these things are the ones that are going to bring you back. They're the ones that are going to give you track to set your risk management strategy and know that if I want to survive for the next 6 months, then I have a win rate of maybe 40. My risk per trade is supposed to be this, depending on the amount of capital I have. Yeah.
Wow, that is really interesting. So now you've talked about data, like recording data. Isn't that what you guys call a journal, right?
Yeah.
So now, what is the importance of a journal? Why would someone journal?
Journaling is one of the most important things. I'll give an example. You've done business before. And one of the things that I emphasize, if you make a sale, what is the first thing you're going to do?
You record it.
You're going to record.
Absolutely.
And for every business, there's supposed to be that database.
Definitely.
Why? Because if there is any shift or if there is anything that is actually coming up, they already know. They can track. They know, there is money going out. Why? There is a loophole here. And that is one of the things that normally traders put aside. It is very simple. What is the entry price? Closing
very
price.
Easy
very easy stuff.
But you know that people don't do them. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I think they just don't value what they're doing. You know, when you value, when you have value for something, you probably will do everything it takes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I normally ask a question. Just imagine you starting something and you're 100% sure it is going to work out. I don't believe you will fail to do some things that are actually going to make it actually more better. That
is where I usually have an argument with people. There is this question. Trading is gambling. Then my question is, what is life?
Life is gambling. Absolutely.
But then there is something called luck. But have you ever asked yourself, is luck actually created or is it still just an element of waking up and things just happen? I believe to every extent, luck is created. And if I had not done whatever I had done, if I had not gone down to the village to do what I had done, I would not be where I am right now. So most of these guys want things to just happen from nowhere.
Miracles.
And they don't want to, I wake up.
Create the miracle.
Exactly. I wake up and put in whatever it takes. I sleep at office. And I'm trying to make things right. Then someone expects me to have the same results with them.
Yesterday I was trading. It was around, I think I entered gold yesterday in the evening, around 7 p.m. there. So now when I reached home at around 11, I was going through my trade and then the trades I took earlier. And it took me almost like 1 hour. So it took me almost like 1 hour to, journal everything. It reached around midday. So now before I sleep personally, I cannot sleep before I watch something about mindset. I think that is something I normally tell everyone I teach. I want to sleep with a very motivated mindset. And when I wake up in the morning, I want to watch a video still so that I can enter that day when I'm well motivated. So I was watching the video and then I thought about something. I was like, we teach these guys, we give them everything.
Yeah.
They want to be like us. Actually, they want to actually be better than us, right? But right now, I'm on a computer in the middle of the night. You can imagine around 1 a.m. in the morning of the next day. I'm watching a video to help myself sleep with a motivated mind. And the one who wants to be like me is that either watching TikTok, a movie, or sleeping. And I was like, you know, life is actually not fair. But one thing I know is good life goes to those people who actually want that good life. If you're actually not having the good life, it's because you don't want the good life.
Exactly.
Because God blesses those who aren't blessed.
Exactly.
You get?
Yeah.
So now back to you, Elvis. Now, risk management is as important as the systems, right? Because it's all about the systems. So psychology, fear, you've emphasized fear, FOMO, and greed. Those 3 things most important. Now, how can a trader? Okay, yes, I know you're going to say systems. But now, how can a trader create a system that can help them survive those 3 things?
Well, I'll give from my perspective. I'll give an example because an example is the most simplest way to describe something. I've suffered in my trading career, and one of the biggest challenges I've faced is taking prop firms to be the easiest thing when I've just acquired one.
Okay.
I usually trade 100K.
Okay.
And after I've bought this challenge, I am like, man, I should take this thing serious and get the best out of it. Then I take the first trade. Normally, it is even not following the system because I know, man, I still have a lot of space. I'm risking only 1%.
Okay.
Most of the time, I even go to 0.5% because, you know, we are only given 10% of this account. So I have only 10 trades. So I'm like, I still have a gap of 10. If I take one, even if it loses, there is, I'll give from the account that woke me up. I bought a 100K prop. That is, I usually trade with FTMO. So I was like, let me buy a 100K prop and utilize this to take on most of my expenses. Because what I do is trading, so it should make sure it caters for me full time. So I'm like, I think I should take this thing serious and have money coming in such that I clear most of my expenses with a funded account. I buy a 100K prop. I trade phase 1. It was actually difficult. I went to a drawdown of 5%.
Wow.
Then I pulled it back with, I think, 3 trades. I passed phase 1. Then it gets to phase 2. I'm reluctant. I'm like, man, I figured out this thing. So now this is what these guys are calling psychology, right? I'm like, man, I've figured out this thing.
Confidence.
I execute the first one, risking 2%. Gone.
Wow.
Same day. Loss again. I think the first one was gold, the second one was GJ. I usually trade gold, GJ, and USD CHF. So I'm like, I got one on gold, I lost. I got one on GJ, I lost. Now USD CHF, I'm always comfortable when it gets to USD CHF. If I was risking 1%, I usually go for 2.
Because it's not too volatile.
So I'm like, this USD CHF is my brother.
You already 4% down.
Already 4% down. Then I'm going another 3%. I lost. Then comes the following day. I said, man, yesterday I lost a lot, no execution. That was now a Friday. Then coming Monday, woke up very early, got a signal, I executed. I lost, still USD CHF. I lost to the point that I was left with $300 to breach this account. Then what I did is I actually put this account aside. Then when I put this account aside, I realized that I'm just not serious sometimes. So I'm like, I'm so comfortable. There is that confidence that comes in me, most especially when I've achieved a certain target. There's that pride that I have within me. I'm like, man, I know this
know what
thing,
I'm
and the next shot is going to be a perfect one.
Yeah.
So I decide and say, when I put this account aside, let me first focus on my live account and at least be getting whatever I can, so that I'm not affected by what is on their side, because I'm going to lose my initial payment for what? For the challenge.
For the challenge, yeah.
After like 1.5 months, I come back to this account. I'm like, man, I've done a lot. I know gold will give me for this one. Then I usually have this thing when I've done almost everything. That is technically, I'm a swing trader, technically and fundamentally. I always want the volume to confirm. I always want to get that big candle that will come in from nowhere.
Yeah.
Then gold brings that thing to me. I'm like, no, I should not execute only on the live account. Let me pull back this $300 of mine. I actually put lot 1. Then from nowhere, gold moved around 300 pips with just one candle. Then I added lot 3.
Wow.
I passed phase 2 with one go. Then when I sat down,
But draw down to passing the account.
yeah, when I sat down, I realized one of my biggest challenges is that comfort.
Oh, okay.
Is that comfort. So my next step was asking myself, how am I going to deal with this?
Okay.
Then I said, personally, I will not take away. There are things that society shapes us.
Yeah.
You know, from childhood, this is my behavior. And I cannot do away with that. So why I don't believe most of the time someone saying psychology. There are things that will never get out of you. But it will only take you to understand that this is part of me, but it is not the right thing.
Okay.
So how am I going to do away with it? Or how am I going to keep up with my behavior, but it is not affecting me when it comes to trading?
Yeah.
So I sat down and said, you know what? I think I will need a third party on this. And I've actually had more than 7 people. For you to find me with that last guy I always move with, because I actually figured out he's better. I've actually had very many that I've tried to put in that place.
Okay.
Such that when I have an execution, it is not mixed with emotions. He's not going to ask me again because he already knows we already have a set of rules.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's going to come up and say, you know what, Elvis? We are having a break. Normally I trade falling wedges and rising wedges. I focused on that. Then he's going to say we are having a break and we're expecting a continuation as we had planned earlier. First look at it and confirm with the volume and other confirmations. Then he's going to, when I confirm, I'll just tell him, execute.
Okay.
But then I've been having people already, I'm trying to get out of a certain element.
Yeah.
Executing without following.
Pride. Okay.
Oh, okay, without that pride, or without saying, man, this one is going to go.
Yeah.
There are guys have been calling from nowhere. There is a time I was in a salon, though we made money that time. So that is a mistake. You know, sometimes we make mistakes and make money, and we think it is going to be like that all the way. So I was at the salon. I was looking at MT5. I call this boy. I tell him, you know what? Buy gold. The boy bought. He didn't even ask me, man. I can't see anything on the chart.
Yeah, he just took that trade.
The reason I like this boy is because he's going to tell me, man, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not executing.
Oh, yeah.
And even if it is missing only one confluence, he's not going to execute.
Okay.
So there is a certain element of me that has greed and that pride. But then I managed to get a person that will actually help me.
Who's going to handle that?
Exactly. And with this, he's also benefiting.
Absolutely.
He's also benefiting.
Yeah. That is interesting there. That is interesting. So what is the biggest amount of money you ever made in one trade?
Actually, the amount of money I've lost on
ever made in one trade.
The amount of money I've ever made in one trade, I've actually shared that one. That is 200,000.
200,000?
Yeah.
20K? 200K?
It was 200K in total, but I had a 10%.
Oh, okay. Now, what is the biggest loss you've ever made?
The biggest loss was 4,000. Because for me, the amount of money I lose on a prop farm, I don't call it money lost.
Oh, yeah,
but I'm so much of a prop farm trader.
Oh, okay.
So the live account, I've lost 4,000 within a blink of an eye.
In a blink of an eye. So now, thank you so much for actually passing by the Bulls podcast. So your last remarks, your last message to all traders out there.
To all my aspiring traders, I believe understanding yourself as a trader is the first step you're going to take. sit down and evaluate. Think of it in your own way. You know, the challenge, one of the biggest challenges I usually face is a trader that actually wants me to draw a roadmap for you. I'm going to give you certain things, but then you have to shape them yourself and get to where you're supposed to get, because our journeys are always going to be different. You know, when you get a mentor, whatever business it is, they're only going to show you, let's assume I have my friends that actually do retail, I mean wholesale from Kenya. They're going to show you where where they get from the products and tell you the prices. They tell you, man, these guys should give you between this range. They're not going to tell you, you know what,
do everything for you.
Yeah. That is one thing I want to tell all traders to do. Sit down and evaluate and draw your own roadmap, not money, but a system. I will emphasize that, a system that will refine you, will define whatever you are doing as a trader.
Okay, perfect. So systems. That is something that is actually very, very important. Everyone needs a system. Other people call it plans, other people call it set of rules, but it all comes down to you having something that you're going to follow. You sign a contract when you're employed somewhere. That contract has a system of how they expect you to behave, to dress, so that they can achieve their goals. So that means even when you come in trading, you do the same thing. You're supposed to have a contract of how you're going to behave so that you can see yourself being profitable. One thing I always emphasize at the Boss Podcast, we discuss reality. It might sound like it is not the right words you're supposed to hear, but it is the perfect words you need to hear. We have proof that trading works. We are the living examples. So trust me, once you follow what we tell you, these guys, we've seen them. I saw Elvis 3 years back. I showed him the market, and guess what? He's living that dream. So that means it is possible for you to live that dream. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like. That is the easiest thing you can ever do. And remember, when you do it, we grow to reach so many people out there. See you on the next episode.